What's up everybody, Alex Comstock here with WhitetailDNA, and on today's video we're going to talk about 3 of my favorite OnX features. Now these aren't, I'm going to say, like the top features or the most obvious. These are like 3 of my favorite features that I really like and that I really come to enjoy that maybe you don't use, maybe it's a little under the radar, but either way these 3 features are my favorite that I've really grown to enjoy over the last year. Before we jump into today's video, if you do me a huge favor, hit that like and subscribe below. We are pushing out 2 videos a week, and I appreciate every single one of you that watches and subscribes. It really means the world to us as we build this community of people. We're also putting out 1 podcast episode a week. Every Wednesday at 6 a.m. a new podcast goes live on Apple and Spotify. So if you go over link in description as well, check out the pod, and we really appreciate it. But with that, let's talk about my 3 favorite features from OnX, and let's just jump in here to the phone. And so again, these features are some of my favorites, and I'm just going to kind of pick a total area here, random. We'll go, I don't know, somewhere in Kansas, I guess, but we're going to zoom in. Just going to pick a spot and show you a couple features here. So the first one is going to be folders. So if we jump in here to some random area of Kansas, and let's say this random plot of land is a new piece of property that we're going to be checking out, and you're going to drop a bunch of pins. So we're going to add some waypoints here. We're going to add a waypoint there. We'll say it's a scrape. You're going to add another waypoint, add a waypoint, say down here. We'll call that, like a bedding area. We're going to add another waypoint. We'll call it right in the middle of this property, and we'll call that a buck. Okay. So we got to say 3 pins on this random property, right? Say it's a new property, and say you've got pins all over the place, and you can actually isolate these and create a folder. So you go into My Content, and you're going to go to Folders, and you're going to add a folder, and you're going to title it whatever. So I'm going to call this New Property, and you save. So now when you go into these pins, you can click on the pin, and you can add a folder. And now I'm going to select all these pins from this property that I just scouted. Pin, and I'm going to click Add to Folder, and I'm going to click New Property. So now if you go into My Content and you go into Folders, you'll see that there's this folder called New Property. I click on that, and what's cool is you can toggle these things where you can hide the folder on the map. So if you want to show all your other pins and not show them, or if you only want to show your folder on the map. So say you're creating a new folder on a property where you've already got a bunch of pins, maybe it's for a certain buck, you can click only show this folder on the map. And then what it's going to do when you zoom out, like you see on mine, I'm zooming out, there are no pins anywhere in the country, right? Where if I had this, there would be a ton of pins up where I'm at in northern Minnesota. So that's really cool. It's a feature I really like, is creating folders and being able to isolate them. And so now if you go back into My Content, you go to All Content right here, you click on that, and you click Show All, and now you're showing all your content again. So really neat feature with folders and a way to use them. Now the next feature that I want to talk about is using photos on pins. So this is something I've really gotten into this spring, because I've been scouting out a certain area, trying to find a spot for a certain buck. And you go in there and say you spring scout, right? You're checking all this stuff out in the spring, and you're not going back into the summer. And like for me, I picked a couple of trees. I'm like, that's a good tree to kill out of. So what I do is say this random buck pin right here, say you want to remember that spot, and say you're walking around. So now what you do is you go to edit the pin, and now where it says photos, you can hit a plus, you can add a photo, and you can say take a photo or select from photo library. So I'll select from photo library, and we'll just drop this picture right here of my cameras when I took a picture for an Instagram story today. You click save, and now when you're on that pin, we'll go back, you click on the pin, you scroll up on it, bam, now there's a photo attached to that pin. And I find the most use for this is, again, taking pictures of stuff when you're out scouting. You come back, now when you look at this pin, you're like, oh yeah, it was this pine tree I was thinking of, because you can't really, it'll look different when you come back later in the year. If you find a shed, mark a shed pin, drop a photo. I find it a really cool feature, and you know, this isn't, as far as I'm aware, a new feature, but it's something that I've kind of started using and I really, really like. The last feature that I want to talk about is my third favorite feature, is the rangefinder tool. So this is particularly useful during turkey season, but it can be useful for a lot of things. So let's say you are in a spot. All right, so now for the rangefinder tool, it's really cool. So what you do, obviously, you see like I'm at my house right now. I'm gonna keep it fairly zoomed in because I'm not trying to showcase exactly where I live. But you click on the compass on the bottom right, and now you click it again, and then you click this tool right here, and you click this tool right here, and it brings up a rangefinder. So you can see right here, you know, the way I orientate my phone, you can see exactly how far something is. So if you dropped a pin, you can measure to that pin. If you're like on an elk hunt or a mule deer hunt or even a whitetail hunt and you're stalking something, you know where he is, you can mark it on OnX. Now you can go in and range find it, if you know, and so it's very useful. And now with this too, if you know, say I can see to, we'll say, you know, the corner of this yard next to me. Well, now I can click on it, right? Or you can hit the range. Now you click on the actual rangefinder there. Now wherever you click, it's actually ranging. So you can kind of drag it along there. It's changing the yardage. If you zoom out, we're gonna go trash that. If you click it, the rangefinder again, now it's not gonna actively range. So if I want to zoom out a little bit, you see how the yardages change there on the left. Go to range again, click the rangefinder, click a spot, and you've got the exact yardage. And again, you can drag it along the rangefinder. So that's a tool that I think is super underused, and I really like the rangefinder tool. Stalking something, whenever you need a rangefinder, if you don't even have your rangefinder on you and you're out there doing something, use that rangefinder tool. It's super effective. So OnX obviously has a million tools that you could use. These are three that I found to be like kind of my favorite go-to tools over the last year, and I really enjoy them. So appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you here on the next one.